Hi.
I have a cat. Her name is Oreo.
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 What is she like? Describe.
She is a domestic long hair. She's really cute. She's black and white and she has a little goatee right here. So she kind of looks like a guy, but it's a girl. And I named her Oreo because she reminded me of the cookie when I first saw her. She was actually a stray cat that showed up at my sister-in-law's house, but they wanted to get a dog, so they didn't want the cat.
When animals come to humane societies, it's sort of an indication of the human-animal bond breaking down.
Most people who have a dog, it's because they want a dog, and then the stray dogs usually don't get a lot of attention from people. They usually just get kicked out of people's properties and stuff.
Animals out there that are dog aggressive, or aggressive, or have issues that you can't even get near them. They're so scared they want to run from you all the time. How do you put an animal like that up for adoption?
If they see a stray cat or dog, then they'll call services and they'll pick them up and take them somewhere.
Often in the summer, kitten season, right now we're pretty full.
So during the warmer months, just recently, we get a huge influx of baby kittens. And that's because cats, if they're homeless and they aren't spayed or neutered, they have babies. So we get thousands of baby kittens during the summer. We see a number of animals that come to shelters, but all of the homeless animals don't always make it to shelters. Sometimes they are, they pass away on the streets, or sometimes they just never make it to somebody who will take care of them.
When we lived in San Francisco, we had another cat for a few months, but in our apartment we weren't allowed cats.
If you give up your pet, you might have a very, very good reason for doing that, but there is also something going on where that connection was broken.
So unfortunately, we're getting a lot of, maybe older animals that have been used to having a home, and people have to give them up.
On average, it takes about 30 days to find an animal a home, but some animals have been here for more than a year.
This is not a no-kill shelter. However, there are no time limits. So it isn't as if an animal runs out of time.
But we do not euthanize for time or space here.
How it's done and the reaction of the animal and that kind of stuff.
I had to have a beloved pet of my own put down that was terminally ill.
In a world without it, there'd definitely be a lot more animals. And probably a lot more stray animals. I just think more animals, and probably more animals in pain maybe, but also those animals that were saved, they could find a home for them too. So I think it could go either way. I think that they should still be given a chance, and that vets and stuff should still do the best that they can do to save the animal.
I stayed with the pet while he was given the injection, and he just went to sleep. I'm assuming that it has probably become kinder and quicker.
If we were so full that we had no more space for animals, what we would do is call our partner shelters and say, hey, we're stuck, can you come help us out? We have folks that work in our behavior department, and when animals are when they come to the Humane Society, we put them through a special behavior evaluation. We believe that every animal that comes through here is an individual. So while we do evaluations, it's not to pass or fail an animal. It's really to find out a little bit more about the animal's personality, because if we want to find homes for these guys, we need to know what they like, what they don't like, what their triggers are, how comfortable they are around certain people.
And then we volunteers are also asked to give our comments, and we write them up on the whiteboard, behind. We may notice that a cat is, particularly good with other cats, or maybe the cat was very good with children when children came in, or conversely, the cat may not like children and retreat to the back of the cage.
Little kids, right, they might stick their hands into the food. The biggest thing that we do with our behavior evaluations, like I said, is not pass or fail. A dog does not have to get perfect scores in order to go up for adoption.
Euthanasia is not anything anybody likes. Suffering and misery and slow starvation and illness, death by disease are not good either.
Depending on his level of care needed, he might go into a foster home, he might have a behavior plan where our volunteers and our behavior team work with him on certain skills that he needs to learn.
We can let potential adopters know if they get along with, say, dogs, or if they're quiet. We try to give potential adopters as much information as we can. And a lady was in looking at various cats, and one of our more elderly cats came out, and he looked at her, and then he jumped right into her lap, and she said, "Oh, what a nice cat," and she petted him and played with him. And then she was ready to move on and look at other cats, and he wouldn't get out of her lap. He wouldn't leave. He just stayed right there and looked at her and purred, and she said, "Well, I guess I've been chosen."
It's something that we're working towards in creating a really strong partnership with other shelters in the area so that we can work together to save animals.
I love cats, and anything that I can do to help the ones find new homes, I'm happy to do it.
What kind of person likes to hug animals? Kids, right?
Are you going to be able to feel confident that somebody's going to not get hurt?
We do evaluations like the safe hug test, where we sit down next to a dog, for example, and we'll put our arms around the dog that's recently come in, and we gently put our arms around the dog and restrain him for just a moment. No squeezing goes on, just hugging. Do the food test, and you may have seen that on animal shows, which is we give the dog food and then we use a fake hand to see how comfortable he is with touch during feeding. For the most part, pet animals don't like to be restrained. So that helps us understand where his boundaries are. Sometimes people, their pets are sick or their pets are old, and they come to us to provide that end-of-life care.
Think that we enjoy doing it. Completely not true, right?
You know, we should all be so lucky, maybe, if we've lived long enough.
But I think another piece of it is that, shelters can do their job, and individuals can help as well. I mean, we're a community. We can't save animals unless we're all working together for a common goal. Safe, happy, and healthy home, enough food to eat, and a family that will care for them for the rest of their natural life.
We think that the economy has a lot to do with it. People are moving, they're being foreclosed on, or they're moving and they can't take their animal with them.
If I stay in a dorm, or if I get an apartment, or if I move in with like some friends, because I know that if, for example, I end up at San Francisco State, then I'll move in with some friends and we'll probably look for an apartment that can take animals, and I'll take her with me. If not, she stays with my parents.
What we do is we work with the people to teach them how to work with their dogs, because we don't want people to give up their pets if there are answers. We've found that in general, the #1 reason people give up their dogs to shelters is because the dog has a behavior problem. Nobody's perfect, animals aren't perfect, people aren't perfect. We also euthanize animals here if they are so sick that we can't help them, or if they are unsafe.
They're too sick or too old. The thing is with animals is that you can't ask them, do you want to keep living or do you want to be put down? It's just so sad for them to be put down.